Hello, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Klankzucker. Welcome to my 2017 films from worst to best. Yes, we are finally here. I'm about to go through the ones that I thought were terrible, the ones I thought that were just decent, and the great ones. So here's how it's going to go. I'm going to start with the worst ones. Just to get them out the way. Go to the medium ones. And then to the best ones. I won't talk a lot about them. I'll just give my quick summary about these films. And then move on. Now keep in mind, I've got a few rules. Number one, I have not reviewed every film on this list. If you want to see the full reviews for some of these films, then go look onto my YouTube channel. You'll find it. 2. If there's a film on here that got released last year, or sorry, should I say 2016, because we're in 2018, like there's going to be films like The Great Wall, Monster Trucks, La La Land, because I believe they came out in 2016. And La La Land came out in the United States in 2016 as well. However, in the UK, we always get films that come out in January. So if you think, oh, why didn't you put down 2016? Because one, I saw it in 2017, and two, if it's got released in 2017 in my country, then it counts. So please don't complain about that, because that's just how it works. All lists are different. We all have different opinions. You could agree, disagree about my list here, because genuinely 2017 was a pretty great year for films, but it's also one of the worst as well. So before we get started, do let me know what your favourite films are from worst to best. It could be top 10, top 5, whatever. So without further ado, let's get into it. Oh, and before I start, keep in mind I have not seen every film this year. There are some that I have missed out, like The Disaster Artist, Shape of Water, Lady Bird, so much. A lot of them I really wanted to see, but they can't make the list. So, anyways, without further ado, let's get into it. Starting off the worst list, we have the EMOJI movie. What else can I say about it? It's cancerous. It's the definition of a really bad movie. It's not funny. It's not original. Even when it has dramatic moments, I don't feel invested. It's boring. It's pandering. It's product placements everywhere. This is everything wrong with a fucking animated film from Sony. At least Ice Age Collision Course has good animation and funny moments. This, barely. The animation is okay, but it's not that good. Recommendation, skip it. Skip it completely. Even if you have the DVD and you have second thoughts thinking, after hearing how bad the film is, I should probably throw it away. And which I reply with, yes, throw it away. You're wasting your time with the movie. Just get Lego Batman or Captain Underpants. Show that to the kids and they'll have fun. But this one, just throw it away, please. I want to forget about it as soon as fucking possible. So, again, don't see it. It's a pile of shit. No pun intended. Next on the worst list, we have Monster Trucks, directed by Chris Wedge, who also directed the first Ice Age. He also directed Robots and Epic from the animation studio Blue Sky. However, he decided to go over to Nickelodeon and Paramount Pictures and said, hey, let's make a film for the kiddies. This will be live action, no animation, but terrible CGI, and then you've got Monster Trucks. Well, I don't think it's quite as cancerous as The EMOJI movie. I can't believe I had to say that again, but here we are. But it's still terrible. Like Ice Age Collision Course, actually, I would recommend this to kids if they just want to have fun and not learn anything new, but at the same time, it's a terrible movie. Terrible CGI, it's predictable, the acting's wooden, has it's a environmental message, and it comes off as just a generic looking Nickelodeon movie. Recommendation, don't see it, but if your kids are interested, then show it to them. It won't harm them. Hopefully not, but it's entirely up to you, so take it or leave it. Next up, we have The Great Wall, starring Matt Damon and Willem Dafoe. Oh, this movie was boring. Despite having good visuals and decent CGI, and Matt Damon is good despite how misleading he is, this movie does not do any favours. It's boring, dull, really confusing, a little controversial at best. It's unoriginal. It doesn't do anything impressive or original. It's God. I don't remember much of this film. That's why I'm just trying to struggle what to say. But I will say it's the best. Take a shot whenever you see a cliche or bad effect game. This was when I was actually at the cinema. Take a nice drink of Dr. Pepper. It's good fun. You should definitely try it. Next, we have Geostorm. Unlike The Great Wall, which was just boring, this movie almost made me fall asleep. Closed the eyes once, and I opened them again because movie. I'll give it this. The music by Lorraine Balfe, who's a music composer, his music is quite good. Visually, when the movie goes to space, it looks great. And Gerard Butler is good. But besides that, it's generic, again, controversial, it's really dull, unoriginal. I didn't care all that much, and it does have a couple of funny moments, but it's not much. I didn't like this movie at all, and I don't know why I saw it, because I hate myself. That's probably why, but don't watch this film, guys. It's really not that good. It's bad. Next, we have The Nut Job 2, Naughty by Nature. I knew I was going to hate this the first I saw the trailer. I'll give it this. The movie is an improvement on the first movie. The first movie was terrible. It has decent animation, good voiceover, and two characters I do like, but it's terrible. This movie is just bad. But I'll give it that it's not quite as bad as its predecessor. It has okay animation, it's decent for kids to watch, it has a couple of chuckle-worthy moments, and it's interesting at some points, but in the end it just comes off as just generic. Again, it's not as bad as the first one, but it's not all that good. But hey, could have been worse. They could have brought back Grayson. I mean, who doesn't love Brendan Fraser? Yeah, but anyways, it's not that good. Next is another sequel, but unlike The Nut Job, I have not seen the first one because it looks terrible. That's right, it is Daddy's Home 2. Now, the reason I didn't want to see it because it looked bad, but the reason I kind of want to see it is because of Mel Gibson and John Lithgow. And to their credit, they're actually the funnier parts of the film. Will Ferrell and Mark Wahlberg are good as well, but those two stand out. But unlike that, everything else is just dull. It feels like a TV movie. It's lazy, mean-spirited. It's really preachy. Dramatic moments can sometimes just be a little uncomfortable. It's not terrible, but it's one I'm just going to forget about really quickly. So, I hope they make it Daddy's Home 3, huh? Now we're getting into the weak films. Films that are on the worst list are just weak and they're not really that good. Not terrible, but, it's just not all that great. Starting with Smurfs: The Lost Village. Unlike the other two live-action Smurfs movies, this animated one is so much better. And by so much, I mean not by much. It's cliched, it's juvenile, it's targeted completely towards kids. However, it has great animation. The main four Smurfs are likable, and the female Smurfs are interesting. But it's nothing all that special. Show the kids this one, but it's not going to be one that you're probably going to remember as well. But it's better than the other two, at the very least. Next week's film is one I was looking forward to until the critics panned it. Yep, this is the one and only summer blockbuster disaster, Tom Cruise, The Mummy. Now, first time when I saw this, it was good. It's a good popcorn movie. Tom Cruise is decent. Russell Crowe is the highlight. And The Mummy does look somewhat terrifying. However, after watching a recent review with the Nostalgia Critic and Angry Video Game Nerd crossover, I thought it was just okay. It's complicated. It's nothing special. It fails to open up the dark universe, sort of like Marvel. But this is one I think half and half will probably like or dislike. But for me, I just thought it was okay. Oh, we're almost there before we get to the decent and to the great. Next is Hitman's Bodyguard, starring Ryan Reynolds, and Nick Fury, Samuel Jackson. Samuel Jackson and Ryan Reynolds are the only two things that stand out. The action's also impressive. It reminds me so much of Kingsman. But it comes off as a generic Lionsgate movie. It's predictable. It has a message that I forgot what it was, and it was slightly preachy. But like The Mummy, it's a good popcorn movie. This is one I think most people will definitely enjoy, but critics just weren't too keen on it, and yeah, I'll agree, it was just meh. Here we are, the number 10 film on this worst list that is the least weakest is Ballerina or Leap. The reason why is because this movie has, while it looks average, really impressive animation. Looks like something from Pixar. Despite how generic, dull, annoying, and preachy it is, this is one I think girls, maybe boys can relate to. But this is one I think just families and, children can enjoy fine. It's not the worst, it's not the best, but just take it for what it is and just enjoy it. Alright, let's get into the decent or honourable mentions. Films that are definitely good, but they're not the worst on the worst or best list, because, that there's only 10 and I can't make more room because it'll be a little uneven. Anyways, to start off with, let's go with The Boss Baby. From the trailers, this movie looked terrible. I thought it'd be like DreamWorks' worst film. Surprisingly, it isn't. It's funny, it's clever at times, it has good animation, it has good voice acting, especially from Alec Baldwin. It's not quite perfect either, since it's quite short, it's quite predictable, it feels like a Rugrats ripoff at times, but it's not. But surprisingly, it's not all that bad, so check this one out. Next up, we have Murder on the Orient Express. This is a film I wasn't going to see, but it did look interesting because it's directed by Kenneth Branagh, who was in Dunkirk recently. The film has a big cast, all of them are good. It has an interesting mystery. Visually, it looks beautiful, and Kenneth Branagh directed it quite decently, I suppose. It's not perfect. The whole who did it, who murdered this person is not only surprising, but kind of lazy. It can get a little boring at times, it can get a little confusing as well, but It's not bad, it's just okay for what it is. Next up we have Split, directed by M. Night Shyamalan and stars James McAvoy. I didn't see this in the cinema because I didn't have enough time to see it, but I saw it online because I couldn't be asked to buy it on DVD. It's pretty good. It's an interesting concept. James McAvoy is scary and really good. The three girls are good, especially the one who was in that witch movie and was also in Morgan. However, it has a confusing ending, surprisingly, and the film can get a little uncomfortable at times, but that's what horror films are supposed to do, I suppose. But I like it. It's not a perfect film, as I always say. It's pretty good. The next one we have is Sing from Illumination. Again, this got released in 2016. In the UK, it got released in 2017, so it counts. A little better than the sequel Life of Pets, which I thought was a little disappointing but good. This movie has good singing, an interesting story, good characters, great animation as always, good voice acting as well. This is one I actually don't mind watching again now and then because I've got the DVD and all that. It's predictable at times. It can get a little mean-spirited as well. The main character, voiced by Matthew McConaughey, can be a little debatable, let's say, but it's not the best from Illumination, but it's one I say you can go check out with a family. It's good fun. Next one will be a little odd choice, but next is Baywatch. I know what you're thinking. Why Baywatch? That movie was terrible. I didn't want to see it either. I wanted to see Wonder Woman, but I had to see Baywatch instead. It's surprisingly okay. It's funny at times. Joanne and Zac Efron are a good duo, but with a comedy like this and based off a TV series, it's predictable. It's rated R hard a little bit. It can be annoying at times. It can get a little stale, and the finale is basically what you expect. I know there are people that like it and dislike it, yada yada yada, but I just think, again, this one is okay. But I won't see it again. Next one is one I don't think many people are talking about, unlike its predecessor, kind of. Next is Justice League, which is one I was hoping. I hope it'll be better than Suicide Squad and Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice. It is, but it's just good. All the actors are pretty great. Visually, it looks nice. The action scenes are handled quite well. However, it's predictable. It can have a little confusion at times. Everything in the film is trying to lead up to something big. The main villain is generic, and it's, I guess you can say, similar to the Avengers too much. But I still had fun with it, but it's just not great. Next up is a recent one that I've seen twice. That's not the only one, but we'll get down the list in a bit. So the next one is Ferdinand from Blue Sky Studios. I was really looking forward to this one, but it wasn't as great as I thought it would be. It has great animation, good songs, funny moments, and the main character is really likable. However, Lupe is annoying. It's predictable. It feels a little too short, even though it's an hour and 45 minutes. And it's not the best from Blue Sky, but hopefully whatever film they do next should be an improvement, I suppose. As long as it's not another Ice Age sequel, then I'm good. Next one is another animated one coming from Illumination Entertainment once again, and that is Despicable Me 3. I'm a huge fan of the other films. The first one I thought was fantastic. The second one I thought was pretty good. Minions was great. This one still continues to be great. But it's not perfect. The main villain, Balthazar Brat, is hilarious. The animation's very great. The movie's funny. It's relatable at times as well, and the voice acting is great. However, the plot can be convoluted with different subplots. It starts to lose a little charm of what made the series great, but I still enjoyed it nonetheless because minions are funny. Next is another animated one. This one I didn't see in the cinemas because I didn't have enough time and all that. But it's one I wanted to see, My Little Pony the movie. I'm a huge fan of the MLP FIM series, or My Little Pony Friendship is Magic. Say what you want about me liking them, but I really do. And I think this is the best MLP movie there is. It has great animation, great new characters. Old characters are great as well. Good voice acting too, and great songs. However, it's predictable, a little preachy, a little mean-spirited in some unexpectedly shocking scenes. But it's one of the best, but I still consider it one of the best films based off a cartoon. Moving on, we've got Kingsman: The Golden Circle. While great, it's not quite as original as the first one. It still has the amazing fight scenes, the great acting coming from Taron Egerton, I hope I spelled your name correctly, Colin Firth, Mark Strong, and even some of the new cast like Julianne Moore, Halle Berry, and even Jeff Bridges as well. However, the film does lose me a little bit near the third act. The film can be a little predictable as well, and can go a little too far. But at the same time, I still had fun with it nonetheless. It's not flawless, but it's still fantastic fun. Next one is another one I saw twice. Second time I saw it yesterday on New Year's Day. And this is one that's been getting controversy and is very, very divided. Of course it is Star Wars The Last Jedi. Mark Hamill, Daisy Ridley, especially Carrie Fisher, all the cast are great. Visually it looks wonderful. The fight scenes are gorgeous and well crafted. We get to know a little bit more about these characters, old and new. However, it doesn't make sense at times. There are things that I have questions about. The whole sequence with Rose and Finn is completely pointless, but I liked it. It's not as groundbreaking as Force Awakens, but I hope Episode 9 can give us more answers. Next one is another one I didn't see in the cinema because I didn't have enough time, and that is It Comes at Night. This movie is really, really divided as well. Maybe not quite as divided as The Last Jedi. Joel Edgerton is fucking brilliant in this movie. Visually, it looks absolutely gorgeous. And I do like they keep it as a mystery about what the hell is going on in the movie. Even though I know people won't really understand it, but I thought it handled it very well. The film can have its scary moments, intense moments, interesting moments, and a little bit of heart to it as well. But it's not quite perfect since there is still a mystery in the film that can be a little confusing. But the film handled all of these things well, even if they're not quite for everyone, let's say. Next one on the list is the Lego Ninjago movie. While it is a little different to the TV series one, it's still great. It has realistic looking animation. It has good voice acting from Dave Franco and Justin Furlocks and Jackie Chan. The fight scenes are amazing. It's mostly funny. However, some of the jokes can be a little repeated at times. It's really cliched, and the whole moral of father and son and family is nice. It is a nice feeling, but at the same time, it's stuff I've seen better in films that I will talk about next. Well, not all of them, but Next is It. The horror film that is a little overrated, but it is one that I genuinely really like. Pennywise, while not really scary, but he can be a little goofy at times. The Losers Club, all the performances are great. There are some genuinely creepy scenes in this movie, and the film can be really relatable. However, it's not quite perfect since, there are things that kind of bothered me. I know it's a really cheap movie. Well, not really cheap, but it's not like big budget, but still. There are things in it that just bother me, and I still like it. Not scary though. Next is a sequel that I have seen, but I have not seen the original. But however, unlike Daddy's Home 2, where I thought the first one looked terrible, this one's first one looked great, but this one I thought was even better. Yes, it is Blade Runner 2049. This movie tells its story in the most perfect way possible. It tells its story visually. It looks absolutely breathtaking. Ryan Gosling and Harrison Ford are great. I heard it does respect what made the original great. However, again, not perfect, but it's I think it's one that I think everyone should go and see to experience a film so fantastic like this one. Do definitely go see it, guys. Next one is Paddington 2. I know this is getting released this month, but last year it was released here in the UK. The first one still surprised me. It's one of the best family films out there. But this one still continued the, I guess you can say, tradition. It has wonderful visuals. Paddington is a likable and you really care for him. So does same for the Brown family. The villain's hilarious. The acting from all of them, especially from the children, who's now grown up a little bit, is great. And it still continues what made the first Paddington great. However, it can feel a little repeated at times, but I love this movie. If they make a third one, I hope they keep what made the first two great and the original source material. I hope. Next up, we've got some from Marvel. Thor Ragnarok. Surprisingly better than the other two. Not saying the other two were bad, but they were just kind of average, I suppose. They are one of the weaker Marvel films, but they weren't bad. This one went for the more comedic route. It has funny characters, great visuals. Thor's great, Loki's great, the new villain's great. It's a good adventure, but again, not quite perfect since Carl Urban's character in the film can be useless until the end, of course, but I won't get into that because spoilers. But besides that, great film. Not one of Marvel's best, but it is certainly one of their funniest ones out there so far. Next is Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. The first one was really funny and really great. This one, while not quite as original as the first one, this one is funnier. I mean, you've got the new cast. You've got the old casts with Chris Pratt, Zoe Saldana, Bradley Cooper, Vin Diesel, all them guys. It's less original than the first one, like I said, but it's far more funny than the original. So if you haven't seen the first one or the second one, then go and check both of them out. If you've seen the first one, check this one out as well. Holy crap. Here we are, my top 10 favourite films of the year, starting with Cars 3. Normally when I have a Pixar film on these lists, they'll be higher, but Cars 3 is number 10 because it's the best one out of all the cars. The first one I thought was pretty good, the second one I thought was okay. This one has great animation, great new characters that you care about. It has an engaging story as well, but at the same time, it is quite predictable. But it does go back to what made the first cars pretty good, about racing, instead of spies and gadgets and Mater and all that. Not that I hate him, but that's a different story altogether. But best one out of all of them, but not really one of the best Pixar films. Next is another film I saw online, but I really want to see it in cinema after hearing how well received it was. Wonder Woman. This is the third best DC film and the best DC Extended Universe film yet. Wonder Woman is visually breathtaking. The acting is all top notch. You care about Wonder Woman. She's a great DC character. However, it's not quite perfect, since the climax fight near the end can get a little CGI heavy, but I still really, really admired this film, and I really had fun. Best one out of all the DC Cinematic Universe films so far. Next is another film that I didn't see in the cinema, but I really wanted to. Captain Underpants, the first epic movie. This was going to be the best DreamWorks film. It was. It was so close. It had perfect animation, great breaking the fourth wall humour. All the characters and voice acting is all on point. Great action. A somewhat faithful story that's also very original, because I actually have grown up with the books by Dave Pilkey, or was it Dav Pilkey? I don't know. But if it wasn't for the fucking people who uploaded clips from the film in the cinema in my recommendations, that's why it's the second best DreamWorks film. Next one is another film from 2016 but got released in 2017, La La Land. This one is a musical, and I don't watch much of them, but this one I really, really liked. Emma Stone is a beautiful and really great actress. Ryan Gosling is great in here as well. The chemistry together works incredibly well. It visually looks colourful. It looks like something from the 80s or 90s. It all flows quite nicely together. What else can I say about it? It's a great musical, and I think it's one I would definitely recommend to people who really like the sort of music that the film has to offer. Definitely go check this one out. Next is Beauty and the Beast. Yeah. Say what you want about it. I know there's people that do not like it, and they think it's one of the worst. I think it's the best one. Yes, I think it's better than Cinderella and The Jungle Book. This movie's visually beautiful. All the cast is great. It tells its story accurately to the original, even though it does tell it almost beat by beat, but still. However, a couple of nitpicks. Emma Watson can be a little okay-ish at times, and then there's one scene in the film that didn't make a lot of sense. I won't say what because spoilers and stuff, but I still think it's the best live-action Disney film there is. Yep. Next is another Marvel one that we're heading into the top 5. Spider-Man Homecoming. This is by far the best Marvel film of the year. It's relatable. Tom Holland is a great Spider-Man. What else? Great storytelling, I think. It's really funny, action-packed. Tony Stark is in the film, don't get me wrong, but he's not in the film as much as you think, because this is a film about Spider-Man. But still, I don't really have any flaws at the moment, but I think it's a perfect Marvel film for any Spider-Man fan and any Marvel fan, so please, do go watch this if you have the time. Continuing the top 5, we have Dunkirk by Mr. Christopher Nolan. I have not seen every film of his. The only one I really need to see is Interstellar. The Dark Knight is a masterpiece. The Dark Knight Rises is pretty great. Inception's great as well. This one might be his best. Sure, you can argue that he got history wrong, but it's a great thriller. It's intense. It's emotional at times. It's thrilling. It's realistic as well. All the acting is great, even if there isn't much talking from the main character. But besides that, it is another great gem from Mr. Nolan. If you guys haven't seen it and you like war films, I think you like this one. We're getting there. Number 3 is Edgar Wright's Baby Driver. This film I had so much fun with. The main character is likeable, really relatable. All the casting, the acting is fantastic. The music is the music, good God, the music. They picked the right choices. And pretty much the film is built around the soundtrack, and it works. It sinks in with the film well. The action scenes are well crafted. It has good comedy. When things get down and when you have to root for Baby, you do. Guys, please go see this one. This one is one of the best films of the year and one of my favourite films of all time. We're getting very close. Number 2, War for the Planet of the Apes. This film is coming from a series I genuinely really liked. Rise was fantastic. Dawn was even better, but War might be the best one. It's emotional. It keeps you on the edge of your seat. Caesar is great. Andy Serkis' motion capture is brilliant. Woody Harrelson is fantastic. It visually looks beautiful. The cinematography is wonderful. And it's very action-packed. I have no complaints here. They ended off this series, even if there will be another one, which I highly doubt there won't be, in the most perfect and beautiful way possible. If you haven't seen the rest, then just give this a watch. I think this is really, really worth it. Oh my God. We're finally here. What is the film I loved the most, enjoyed the most, cared the most, the one I thought was the biggest masterpiece of the year? Well, prepare yourselves. Hold on to something, grab some popcorn or whatever. The number 1 best film of 2017 is... drumroll, please. The Lego Batman movie. This is the film I consider a masterpiece. The animation is amazing. The story is told so well and so clever and really funny. While it doesn't take itself too seriously, it has its dramatic moments as well. All the characters are likeable and well written. All the voice acting is top notch. This film is self-aware, has great Batman jokes, and it proves to be possibly the second, or maybe even the best Batman film. Way better than Justice League and Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice. So there you have it. The top 39 films. Films I thought they were bad to really good. Thank you guys for watching my list. Do let me know what you think in the comments below. Next, it will be the films I'm looking forward to next year. Don't forget to look out for that and other things that's coming out as well. More reviews, more movie reviews coming out for 2018, which I'm really looking forward to. Lots of films I want to see, lots of films I don't want to see, but I might see. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and most importantly, subscribe. And until next time, bye for now!